Okay, let's look at the Ready, Set, Go stuff. This is 5-4. Just to remind you, sine is a ratio opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay. And also remember that opposite depends on which angle you're looking at. We never try and talk about sine, cosine, or tangent of the right angle itself, at least not in a triangle. When we get to later stuff, we will eventually talk about what happens if you try and go beyond 90 degrees. But for right now, right triangle trigonometry, we just deal with acute angles, and the opposite is always straight through the triangle to the opposite side. And hypotenuse is always the biggest one, and then adjacent is the other side that makes angle A that isn't the hypotenuse. Okay. It says round to the thousandths place. Let's just remind you that that's 3 digits. Yeah, you can read these things backwards if you put a 0 in front. Okay. 1,000 for if you read it backwards, 1,000th if you read it forwards. Remember, there's no 1ths place. That's why you start 10th place, 100th place, 1,000th place. Okay, so 3 digits. You may wonder why they're obsessing over 10, 24, 26. There's only a few triangles where all 3 sides are whole numbers. They're called Pythagorean triples. 10 squared plus 24 squared is 26 squared. It's a larger version of a 5, 12, 13 triangle. So it'll have the same trig functions. Okay, for angle B, the 9 is across. Oops. Notice the tangent comes out less than 1 when the angle's less than 45 degrees. I'm just writing these down so that you have access to the numbers if you're checking them. Oops. Do you have to put a 0 in front? Oh no. I like to. I try and remember to. Okay, for angle S, 80 is the opposite. And if if tangent is more than 1, it's more than a 45-degree triangle. Remember to get the angle. So second sine of 80 over 89, or second cosine 39 over 89, etc., to get the angle. Since we have a sine button, a tangent button, and a cosine button, we could have done tangent also. If you round things off, if the angle is small or large, it tends to cause more round off error. So I would, if I'm given exact values, I would use those exact values rather than the decimal approximations. Speaking of which one is exact, the fraction or the decimal? The decimal is always an approximation. Root 2 over 2 is 0.7071 thing. Yes. Well, of course, root 2 over 2 can be extended further. Okay, so precision is number of digits. Just a note. Precision versus accuracy. Okay. Yeah, so once you get to one wrong digit, the rest is just crap. So, yeah, ignore it. All right, next. Oh, we've got a cylinder with a cone. So we've got, let's see, what are the formulas there? For a cylinder is a prism. So it's the area of the base, which is a circle, times the height. And then for a cone, since it's a pyramid, it's 1/3 pi r squared h. Incidentally, what's a two-dimensional thing that comes to a point? Oh, a triangle. And it's 1/2 base times height. 1/2 for a two-dimensional object. 1/3 for a three-dimensional object that comes to a point. Coincidence? I think not. Okay, so I'll write that one down. Okay. So we need a cylinder plus a cone. So they've got different heights. I'll call this one H2, just, all right. Yeah, if I was rounding it off by 3.14, what do you think we're in Tennessee? We'd have about 24,900 instead. Okay. Each bushel is 1.244 cubic feet. So 2488 feet cubed times 1 bushel per 1.244 cubic feet. If you use unit analysis, you can figure out whether you're supposed to multiply or divide. Essentially 20,000 bushels. Okay, so if a bushel of oats weighs 32 pounds, so incidentally, LB stands for Libra. Libra is the Latin word for weight, for the scales. That's why Libra is the zodiac sign for the scales. LB, the more you know. Oh, and that's pounds, and I want to know how many tons. So I'm not going to hit the equal sign just yet. I'm going to say times LB's needs to go in the bottom. Incidentally, a metric ton, which is 1,000 kilos, is about 2,200 pounds. It's a little more. But we're just doing the English system here. And a bushel of wheat, last but not least, was 60 pounds. Okay, a 3/4 ton pickup has the capacity to help. That's about 2. It's called a 3/4 ton pickup because it can haul about 3/4 of a ton without messing with the springs and stuff. Okay, volume of it is 4 times 6.5 times 2, which is 52 cubic feet. So I could do it by figuring out the tons, but I can also just do it by saying 52 feet cubed times 1 bushel for 1 point, what did they say, 1.244? Yeah, 1.244. Okay, 41.801 bushels. Oats is 41.801 bushels times 32 pounds per bushel. Okay, that's too big, and wheat is even heavier. Okay, now you know. Be a farmer. Okay, parallelogram. What do we know about parallelograms? Measure of angle. Ooh, angles. What do you call the word that adds to 180? Okay. So B and D are equal. So subtract 3x. Minus 5 is 55 degrees. And so so measure of angle B is 55 degrees. Measure of angle C is supplementary. Okay, next, if measure of angle B is 53 degrees, then let's see, B is 53 degrees, then A is 180 minus. Okay, so 127 degrees, C is the same, and D is back to the same as B. Actually, let's call the measure of angle A 3x, and we'll call the measure of angle B x. A is 3 times as big. Label the small one. That way you can avoid fractions. Okay, so if A is 120, then B is 60, C is 120, and D is back to 60. That one's an easy one. All right, that's it.